Hello, everybody. So, 12,500 subscribers and 3.3 million views. We actually blew past both of those numbers. Those happened on Sunday, and today is Tuesday. As usual, it usually takes me a couple days to do these videos, and yeah, partly because it always seems to happen on the weekend, and my family's home and all that. That just doesn't work out. So here we are. It's Tuesday, and I'm doing the subscriber update video. 12,500. I know it's a weird sort of milestone, but it was the closest thing to appropriate I could think of. There's 10,000, and I did do 11,000 as well because it's like, well, I don't want to just suddenly jump by more than that. But yeah, anyway, thank you. First of all, before I start just like going off on some weird tangent about numbers, thank you. Thank you so much. This never ceases to amaze me, and it really seems like it's taken on a life of its own. Sometimes I wonder, how much what I'm trying to do at the moment has to do with this sort of like, it's like a rolling boulder, it's like just has this momentum to it, and sometimes I'm not sure, I'm trying to keep that going and trying to push this channel forward, but it's got its own life, even apart from my efforts as well. So I don't know. I'm along for the ride to some degree, and I'm doing everything I can to push it forward at the same time. But it sometimes feels like I'm just along for the ride, and it's a wild ride. So thank you all for joining, and thank you to everyone who has subscribed recently and who has just viewed one of the videos for the first time or whatever. Thank you so much, and thank you. All the more to all of my long-term supporters. Some of you have literally been here from the beginning, and that's incredible too. So thank you all, wherever you fit into the picture. Thank you so much. This is always so amazing. And yeah, in terms of numbers, yeah, I mean, it was like 10,000 and then 11,000, and now it's 12,500. And I'm planning to do the next one of these videos at 15,000, just because it's actually, it is growing faster and faster all the time. And I was already doing videos like every 3 weeks. Every 1,000 was only like 3 weeks and sometimes less. And it was getting crazy doing these videos so often. And yeah, so, that's also something I've done since the relatively early days when I had less than 1,000. I think I did like 1,000, and then I did like 1,250, and so I'm kind of keeping with that sort of tradition, if you will, as well, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to drone on too much about that. I want to talk about changes around here. I am in a good mood today, and that has a lot to do with all of you. My life is all the more exciting because of this channel and the growth of this channel and all of you and all the support I get. Life is good, and that has a lot to do with you. Financially, I'm still just hanging on, but I'm hopeful, and the hope has everything to do with all of you. So thank you. But yeah, I do want to talk about some changes coming to the channel. I know I've talked about some of this before, but I'm going to talk about specifically a little more short-term stuff here and some longer-term ideas. So first of all, yes, I am still planning on doing 5 videos a week over the summer. Planning on still starting that late this month. This is June or early July. I'm not sure if I'll do it like the last week of June or the first week of July or something like that. I've been kind of waffling on that. There's a lot happening the last week of this month, and the weekend where it transitions from June to July is a long weekend here. It's a holiday weekend here, and I'll probably be kind of busy, but yeah, I'm going to, somewhere around there, I'm going to start doing 5 videos a week. And that's going to be really challenging because I do have to balance that with my family life. As some of you know, I am already very busy. I'm just doing 2 videos a week, and my work. So I have family, I have work, and I have YouTube. And just trying to balance those 3 things is crazy as it is, and it's going to be very challenging to try to do 5 videos a week. But as I've talked about before, a lot of that honestly is going to be like pre-recorded. Like I'm going to record things in batches and upload them in bits, which I already do actually. Most of my Friday videos are that. My Terraria multiplayer series is that, where the part 3 of the Terraria series Terraria multiplayer series with my friends. We recorded all of that on New Year's Day. Part 1 was New Year's Day last year. Part 2 was actually at the LAN party, just sort of before the LAN party. There were 3 of us just playing for a bit. That was part 2, and I lost some of it, so part 2 was very short. But part 3 was New Year's Day this year, and it's sort of become almost, well, it's not long enough to be a tradition yet, but it's almost like a tradition. Like last year, I think it was January 2nd because of the way the holidays worked, and then this year it was January 1st. We basically spent the whole day playing Terraria as a group, and that's where those series came from. And I have a ton of Battle Royale stuff already recorded from different games. I have lots more PUBG. I have a bunch more Fortnite. And yes, this weekend, we did not get into Totally Accurate Battlegrounds as a group yet. Although some of the guys do have that, and I'm hoping to get into it very shortly. But we did get into Realm Royale, which was also released last week, and both of those games, for different reasons, are interesting to me, even though some of you might be thinking the whole Battle Royale genre is getting a little tired, and I'm not going to disagree, but there are interesting things about each of those games that makes it a little different. So we are playing all these different games, and there's a lot of material from 3 different games now. PUBG, Fortnite, and Realm Royale. I'll be releasing the first Realm Royale video as well today, probably a little later. And yeah, I'm going to have at least a few videos of that, and I have a bunch more PUBG, and I have a bunch more Fortnite. I'm looking forward to getting into Totally Accurate Battlegrounds, because as I did in my single player, you know, where well, not single player, but where I hopped online myself, by myself, and just fought random people online, I found the game hilarious, and I think it's going to be fun to play with my boys, my group, as well. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, I'll be doing my expert Terraria playthrough, which is where some of those other videos over the summer are going to come from. I'm going to get that ready sometime this month. I'm going to start recording that soon, I think. I haven't started yet. But basically what I'm going to do is take like a work day and play for a few hours, and then I'll have some stuff to release over time. You know, I'll do one episode a week, because that's the only way I can manage this stuff, honestly, is if for the most part, most of it I have to record ahead of time in batches, and then I just edit it and cut it up, and that's how I really do things, and I don't mind telling you. The guides, of course, are a different matter. I record them one at a time, but there's a lot of research and prep work and stuff. I have to do an outline for every guide, and then I have to do, you know, get all the items I'm talking about. And yeah, there's been a couple where I didn't get all the items, and you know, some people were okay with that and some were not. So I'm making more of a point to get all the items, even if admittedly in some cases I have to cheat for the really hard to get items, or the items that just take a long time, or just things that I haven't got, because when I'm doing these guides, like, I don't have a lot of time to put into this stuff in terms of the actual, you know, farming for items. That can take a very long time, as a lot of you know. So if I'm covering like 20 or 30 items in one video, you can imagine how long that takes. And most of the items I've already got, because I played through the game from start to finish, and I kept almost everything. You can see in the game that the world that I usually use for my Terraria guides, I have tons and tons of chests, and they're pretty well all full. And most of that is stuff that I got when I was actually playing through the game, and I saved it all in the chest thinking maybe I'll need it later. And here we are. So yeah, and if anything, there's a few things here and there that I did get rid of that now I'm regretting, like, oops, I should have kept that, and now I have to get it again. And I try to do everything legitimately as much as possible, so I do spend time farming for things and searching for things and so on. But once in a while, it's like, okay, I don't have time to do that, and I'll just use like T-Edit and put it in a chest. Just use the editor and use the editor to put it in the chest, and I don't mind admitting that. But I try to do as much as possible. I try to do it legitimately, because that helps me to understand what I'm talking about before I'm telling you as well. And I use the wiki a lot. I don't mind telling you that either. So, you know, that's where the guides are really coming from. I'm not creating this information. I'm just synthesizing this information. I'm putting it together for you. I have played through the game, of course, and my expert playthrough that I'm talking about, I've been doing my own little private expert playthrough on the side, just like here and there. You know, I would record that, but I've literally been doing it here and there when I have, you know, even half an hour or even, you know, 15 minutes to do a little bit more, So it doesn't work to record that. I've been doing a lot of that when my family's home, when I can't be recording all the time anyway. But yeah, so the actual one that I'll be showing you is going to be something where I'm going to dedicate my time during my regular workday while my family is not here, and I'll be recording that, and then just cutting it up and releasing a bit at a time, week by week. So that's how I plan to do that. But talking about some other changes and some other things that I've been thinking about and considering, I have been considering some other games for the channel and even some other channels, and I've sort of hinted at this before or talked about it a little bit as well. I picked up the Arma 3 Humble Bundle like today, the last, you know, couple of hours. It was about to expire, and I was hemming and hawing and thinking about it. Do I want to spend the money? Am I even going to get into this game? But it's just something I want to hopefully find some time to look at and experiment with, because that game has a lot of mods, and I am somebody who loves mods, even though I haven't done a lot of that on the channel. I did do a bit, of course, for Left 4 Dead 2 particularly, because I got into that anyway before I even started this channel. But yeah, Arma 3 has a ton of mods, and particularly I'm looking at like sort of horde mode mods, whether it's zombies or whether it's just huge waves of enemies, because that's something that I have had a lot of fun with my friends. We played a lot of Battlefield 1942 and Battlefield Vietnam back in the day. We still play Battlefield Vietnam occasionally, and what we do is we set it up. It's like 6 of us against like 58 bots, and it's just like literally a river of bots just rushing from flag to flag trying to kill us all, and we're trying to hold the line with only 6 of us. It's hilarious. And I wish I had some footage up for that for you all. And yeah, that's a whole other thing, copyright issues, where technically EA doesn't give permission unless you ask nicely, which is weird. Yeah, the different companies work differently, which is also why I cover certain games and not others. And speaking of which, I've been thinking about and talking about other channels. I've long been thinking about, since very early in the channel, thinking about doing Nintendo stuff, because I am a closet Nintendo fan, I will admit. You know, some of you might think that's ridiculous, but as somebody who plays Terraria as well, you know, that's a game designed by a guy who did a Super Mario fan game before he did Terraria. So yeah, I'm a closet Nintendo fan myself, and you know, my first video game console when I was much younger, like 6 years old or something, I got a Nintendo Entertainment System, the original Nintendo console. That's where I started with you know, having games properly fully in my life. You know, I might have played some arcade games and some computer games as well before that, but yeah, I've long thought about doing Nintendo content, and what I've run into is that because the way Nintendo does that, their permission system is that you have to enter a particular special partnership agreement with Nintendo, and you can either you know, do individual videos or you can do a whole channel. And that's the way I've been looking at it, that if I'm ever going to do Nintendo content, I'll probably create a whole separate channel for it, because I think it would just be a lot easier. And it also, from an administrative and financial perspective, it would be a lot easier, but also that I think, sorry, I kind of got lost there. I think, you know, in terms of the audience and the content and stuff, it makes sense to keep that all together in its own separate place as well. So that's something I'm still very much thinking about. And more broadly, you know, couch co-op and couch multiplayer games in general are something I've long wanted to do on the channel. Not just Nintendo stuff, but also, you know, say Towerfall, and there's actually lots of, and yeah, say like Monaco and those kind of games. There are a lot that are on Steam, on PC as well, that are actually like couch games that you can sit down you know, on a couch with a few people or online. A lot of them will do both, but for me, you know, that's how I grew up. We used to play Bomberman, Super Bomberman particularly, for Super Nintendo. I had the multi-tap, and my friends in the neighborhood, I was in the middle of nowhere, but I was lucky to have some friends on the street right nearby who could, like, we could walk to each other's houses, and that's what we used to do. You know, the guys would come over and we'd play Bomberman and a few other games, but a lot of Bomberman back in the day. And yeah, we used to sit on the couch and play games. And even, you know, later I went to university and we did the same thing. I had a GameCube. So yeah, I play Smash Brothers. We played a lot of Smash Brothers Melee, let me tell you. And yeah, like I got a GameCube. I actually skipped the Nintendo 64. I had the original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, skipped the N64, and got a GameCube. And I used to carry it around with me in a backpack, and I'd take it to parties and stuff. You know, obviously it's a certain type of party for that to work, but we had a lot of fun. And I had a whole bunch of games for that. We used to sit and do that. And then when the Wii came out, we did the same thing. And yes, I have a Wii U. I'm one of those people who actually has one of those, and honestly, Nintendo Land was a lot of fun if you're sitting on a couch with some people. But yeah, I don't have a Switch. I'm hoping maybe as the channel grows, I might be able to afford to not only buy a Switch and some games for it, but also the whole setup required for us to be able to record that. I might be able to repurpose some of my gear that I use with my computer to do that. And I have a spot to do that in my basement, which is where all my friends came for our LAN party. So, you know, there's this floating around in my head here that, you know, we might set up a sort of couch gaming space and start putting out some of that kind of content as well. So I want to know what you think of those ideas, and you know, more battle royale content and Arma 3 or whatever other games. You know, maybe Overwatch. A few people have mentioned they'd like to see Overwatch, which I think makes a lot of sense with my friends. That we could get into that or something like that as well. But yeah, I mean, it's been primarily a funding issue, which I'm hoping we're going to get to the point soon where that's not going to be such an issue. And yeah, I mean, I'm still kind of right on the edge financially, but I'm okay, but just okay, which doesn't leave the money to buy all the stuff to do all of that. But I'm hoping, and my plan with, you know, putting out 5 videos a week over the summer, and the summer in general, always a really good time for YouTube, which is why I'm doing it now. We'll see how well it works out. I'm hoping to be able to continue doing 5 videos a week after summer, and that will just be the normal thing after that. I'll have to see how it goes, both with the channel and with my work, and so on, to be able to do that. And also, my wife might be taking our daughters overseas at some point in the summer, and that might actually give me some time, because I don't think I'm going with them. I think that would give me some time here to play with my friends and record a bunch of extra material again as well. Right now, all this Battle Royale stuff, we've been doing that on weekends, and some of the previous stuff we've done on weekends as well. The whole Rust series was recorded way back in October on weekends. Actually, I think it was all one weekend. That whole Rust series was one weekend. It was mostly one day. The last episode is yet to come, for those of you who thought that might have been the end. For those of you who even watched the Rust stuff. But yeah, a lot of that stuff, most of the other stuff, the Battle Royale stuff, is a little more recent, but Rust was way back in October, and there's one more episode to come, I think. I think it's only gonna be one. Anyway, but this is how we've been doing things, that like once in a while I find some time on a weekend and play with the guys, and we found some time this past weekend. We did some Realm Royale, and I'll put up the first episode today, and some more will be coming later. Yeah, and that's how life has been, but you know, as the channel grows and as it becomes you know, doable in various ways, in a whole series of different ways, as it becomes more doable, there will be more opportunities to make more content. And hey, you know, if my wife is going to take off with the kids, that's a good opportunity for me to record some more stuff with the guys. And hopefully I might have a little money coming in to buy the games at the very least to start with. I'm thinking I could probably use a new graphics card. Some of you have noticed frame rate issues in certain games. I could use, I want to get an Elgato. I've been doing it entirely just on the built-in graphics card, recording stuff and everything. There's a lot that I want to invest in. And yeah, I think hopefully we're starting to get there. But speaking of which, something I came across yesterday was that YouTube has this new sponsor button on some channels, and I don't know how to feel about that, honestly. Very few channels, like it was introduced for gaming channels to begin with first, and it was particularly for doing streams that they created this sponsor button, but now I'm seeing it on regular channels as well, regular non-streaming channels, and it sounds like they're going to roll it out to just all channels, not just gaming channels as well. So that's interesting, and I don't even know how to feel about that, because I don't like to ask people for money. I don't even like to ask for donations, and I don't want to sound like I need it that badly. I think this channel can work just fine on advertising, and a lot of people have complained about, you know, advertising supposedly going away from YouTube and all that, but that hasn't really affected me, quite honestly, and the channel has still been growing in every way, including financially. Speaking of which, May was a new record, not by a lot, but it got a little bit more. It was like 815 or 17 or something, so it got clearly over that 800 mark, where it had been like kind of just sitting right around that since February, actually. And I think April was just below. So yeah, May was a new record, and June is on track to be another new record. It looks like things might be around 900 to 1,000 in May, which is good timing, or sorry, in June, which is good timing, because I finally bought my tires. I almost forgot to mention that. I finally bought a new set of tires for the car, and that was like 700 and something. Was it closer to 700 or closer to 800? I think it was closer to 800, but it was 700 and something for the tires for my car. So that's like an entire month of my YouTube revenue to do that at the same time as my business has not been doing as well as it has done. So yeah, I'm not needy. I'm okay. And I don't want you to think otherwise. We're okay. But we're just okay, and I don't like asking for money, and so I don't know how I feel about this idea of putting that sponsorship button on the channel, because we don't need it, but we could use it, and that would probably be the case for a very long time to come, even if this channel grows to the point where it's an income for me. I want it to be more than just me, and yeah, I don't want to just like, I'm going to suck up all the money. I'm not greedy, and I'm not in it for the money. But I want to be able to do better for the channel. And doing better for the channel is not only me earning a living on it, it's me reinvesting in the channel in all those things I talked about and a lot more. There's so much that I could do just by reinvesting, but also to bring more people in on this, which would be my friends. First and foremost, and mostly, you know, I could see 6 to 8 of us potentially working full time on this channel, or on, you know, our own little network of channels. You know, this is the kind of stuff that's been floating around my head, and I don't know if I want to do that by asking people for money. Again, I don't like doing that. But this is an opportunity. They're adding that sponsorship button. And I've had people ask, you know, I even had somebody ask for my Bitcoin address, which I don't have, so that they could send me something. And I'm like, why? I didn't ask. I didn't ask for anything. And once or twice, it's been very rare, but occasionally I've had people ask if they can send me something. And I'm thinking, you don't need to do that. Why would you do that? But yeah, we could make use of it at the same time. We can make very good use of it. And I don't want to put a sponsor button on there without offering something in return, and at the same time, that gets weird and complicated too, because the way YouTube is doing this to start off with, they have little perks like badges to show that you're a sponsor of the channel, and like various levels of that badge depending on how long you've been a sponsor. And it's like $5 a month, $5 US a month, and various not necessarily quite equivalent amounts depending on the country, because of course, you know, some countries can't afford that and other countries, you know, might be able to do better, but mostly, yeah, it's lower amounts in some places. But anyway, yeah, so there's little badges, and there's like, you can offer special emoticons, but I have to come up with this stuff too. And I don't know, is that something that you all want? Do you want to sponsor the channel? Do you want to have little badges and emoticons specifically for this channel to show your support and that kind of stuff? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. And what would, you know, if you want that, what would you like to see? What, you know, what kind of things? I thought about, you know, like a little terraria tree growing from a seedling or something, but I can't use their art. That's copyrighted, so I have to come up with something of my own. And I'm no artist myself. I could probably get, I do have somebody working on new art for the channel, so I suppose I could ask them to do that. But I don't even know what would make sense, what the ideas would be or anything like that. I don't even know where to begin with that stuff. And another thing is that YouTube is allowing people to offer exclusive content to sponsors, and that's where I don't know if I feel right about that, because I don't want somebody to only get to see something just because they could afford to, and I don't want somebody who can't afford to not get to see something. So whether that's special videos, special, you know, video content, or apparently you can even do posts just for sponsors, and I have very mixed feelings on that. Well, not even mixed, really. If anything, I have kind of negative feelings on that. But I would like to hear from all of you, to hear what you think of all that stuff. You know, I don't want to be a sellout. I don't want to be a sellout. Not only do I not want to look like a sellout, I don't want to be a sellout. And I don't want any of you to think that I'm in it for the money, because I'm not. I'm here because I love games, and I'm here because it's a lot of fun being a part of this, and chatting with all of you and making content for all of you. I love doing this, and that's why I'm doing it. You know, if anything, my business has taken a serious hit because I've chosen to do this, and I don't mind, as long as we're making do, right? As long as we're getting by, I don't mind that. But I do have to, I do need to be able to get by at the same time. And I do feel like, if anything, I feel like I'm kind of letting you guys down by not reinvesting in the channel more, which I'm just not able to do right now. So that's where, you know, sponsorships, whether it's having a sponsor button on the channel and basically asking you guys for money, which I really don't like, or getting sponsorships in terms of, you know, companies sponsoring, whether it's videos or putting a graphic on the channel banner or whatever. I don't know. Yeah. I'm not a big time capitalist, I guess you could say, in terms of, I don't like companies stamping their brand on my forehead, so to speak, you know, and I'm never going to alter my content to suit an advertiser. I want you to know that. I don't feel good about that kind of stuff. But, you know, I could see, like, if a game company wants to send me a free copy of their game so that I can play it early, I'm not going to mince words about it. I'm not going to pretend. But then, you know, I'm not a very negative person when it comes to playing a game anyway. Like, I'm not going to crap on a game just because there's some issue with it. You can see that in my Tab G, Totally Accurate Battlegrounds. There are a lot of issues with the launch of that game, but I was having a blast anyway. So, you know, that's one thing where somebody wants to send me some free stuff, as long as they don't expect anything particular in return, except that I might make a video on it. That would be a thing, I guess. And like, yeah, I mean, I could see doing like sponsor videos for charity eventually. Like, honestly, if I had more money than I needed, obviously that would be quite a long time down the road because I can't afford to buy a house for my family or anything at the moment. Um, but, if I ever got there, honestly, I would give it away. Like, that's the way I look at life. I don't need to live in luxury. I want to buy a house for my family someday, which is totally just a pipe dream right now. We're struggling to afford to live at a comfortable. We're comfortable. Don't get me wrong. We have a good little life here, and we're okay. But yeah, I'm certainly not buying a house in this neighborhood anytime soon. We're renting, and that's precarious in itself. That comes with all kinds of issues. But yeah, I have very mixed feelings. I don't want to pursue the money too hard because that's not what I'm here for. But I can use the money for personal and channel related things. And so I want to be able to do that too. I don't want to turn down money where it could help with the goals of making this a better channel, first and foremost, and of growing the channel, which is where I'm hoping to make my living doing this and making content for all of you anyway. So yeah, it's a very complicated issue, and I'd like to know how you feel about it and what you think about it and all of that kind of stuff, because I'm struggling with it myself, and I don't know what to think. But yeah, anyway, this is just an update, and this is just some stuff that was on my mind and some stuff that I thought was worth talking about. I don't think we need to drag this out any longer. It's pretty long. You know what's on my mind. The stuff that's coming in the short term. Artwork's gonna be coming at some point. I'm not gonna rush that. Yeah, I'll be doing 5 videos a week soon. That's cool. I'm really looking forward to that. And as soon as I can afford to reinvest some stuff in the channel, I'm going to do that. As I say, I would like to start doing a little more variety of content, maybe even additional channels, different types of games, different things like that. And yeah, new video card I think would help with recording in Elgato. There's a whole bunch of stuff I want to reinvest in as soon as I have the money. And anyway, that's not what this is about. I don't want to sound like a sad sack here. We're having fun, and I'm in a good mood. Actually, I'm in a really good mood because I have reason to hope, and because the channel is growing well, and I have all of you to thank for that. And don't worry, I will be, regardless of all of that, I'm going to keep putting out the best content that I can. I've got tons more guides coming. I have a huge list of topics for Terraria guides, and I still need to come up with ideas of other games that I can do guides for. Obviously that's the main draw for most of you, and that's fine. I don't mind that. It is a wonderful game. I love the game so much, and I have so many ideas for things to do for that game. But I don't want to be dependent on just one game, and I don't get bored of Terraria, but I do like to play a lot of other things too. So that's why, I don't do only that. And when I get to doing 5 videos a week, 2 of them will be Terraria, where I've been doing 1 so far. 2 will be that, and most of the time one of those will be a guide. Similar to now, I'll do 2 out of 3 weeks on average will be guides. But then the other video each week for that is going to be my playthroughs, and Mondays and Fridays are probably going to be multiplayer stuff with my friends, different genres maybe on those different days. I might, at this point, I almost feel like I have to dedicate an entire day each week to Battle Royale, just because we've been playing a lot of it and it's been such a huge thing in general. But I also feel like that might be overkill. And then, of course, there's Unturned. That's going to keep going. The Rust series is almost finished, and honestly, I'm not sure if we're going to do more Rust. George doesn't want to do anymore, and I think even Pedro got a little bored of it, and I don't know. I do feel like there's probably more we could do there, but at the same time, I do also want to branch out and try new stuff too. So we may not do more Rust. There's a lot more Unturned yet to come just from our LAN party. That whole Unturned LAN party series is literally from the LAN party. We spent hours playing that game, and a lot of that is not yet released. We actually got really far in the game, and the only thing is, when we eventually got as far as we got, then we didn't know what to do with ourselves anymore. So I'm not sure if we'll continue with Unturned after that series. Although, you know, there's sort of like Battle Royale and Rust-like, you know, base building and gear crafting and all that progression is available in that game as well. If maybe we should go online with that instead of, you know, we did that whole series on a private server, just us doing, you know, survival mode. So there's so many things we can do and so many other games we can get into, and so there's always going to be more coming. Let's just say that much. And specifically, I'm not even sure. I've been looking at Battlefield 5 actually, because as I say, we used to play a lot of Battlefield, like the original Battlefield games, 1942 and Vietnam, and we still play Vietnam sometimes just for fun because we love it. And I eventually mastered flying helicopters, which is really hard in that game. So, so maybe Battlefield 5. Right now, I don't even know if my video card's good enough, and I also don't know about being able to buy the game, because that's one of those games that's going to be really expensive, and I have to ask EA for permission to cover their games. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but that's one thing I'm considering. You know, getting into even some of the latest stuff. And The Division 2, actually, Pedro played a lot of the original The Division, mostly by, you know, online, but without the rest of us. So that's one where I'm thinking about maybe I could do The Division 2. I had a lot of trouble recording the original game, but that's where that's what I want the Elgato for, where certain games I've had trouble with my video driver crashing, and the video driver is doing the recording. So you'll notice my Realm Royale video for today starts like partway through a game. That's why, actually, because it's probably my own fault. I haven't upgraded my video driver in a long time, and I'm going to have to do that this week. I wanted to get these videos recorded before I even try that, because I don't even know if it might cause other issues with recording. But yeah, I hadn't updated my video driver, and I've had problems with both Fortnite and Realm Royale with the video driver crashing. And The Division was doing that way back when I recorded one video of that, and that's why I didn't get into that game more, because I was just having a heck of a time with it. So an Elgato might help with that. That's the plan, the idea there anyway. And so I might be able to get into the Division 2 if I get one of those, among other things. So just spitballing here, so to speak. Lots of things floating around my head, but any of those games that I've mentioned at any point in this video, if you want to see those, do let me know. If you want to see a Nintendo channel, do let me know. If you want to see couch games with the boys, do let me know. Again, my wife taking off for a while with the girls might be a good time to get the boys over, sitting on the couch recording some stuff. That might be an opportunity. Just a thought as well, or whatever else. So yeah, there's so many things that can be done, and I'm just trying to find ways to actually do them. And so that's all exciting, and I was going to quit this several minutes ago. So let's just end it there. And thank you all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is such a ride, and so exciting. And there are always so many things just spinning through my head that I don't even know where to begin. And that's where these subscriber updates, I just kind of stream of consciousness, throw a lot of that out. I make some basic notes, and then I just talk. And here we are, currently almost 39 minutes in. So I guess I should call it a day. So thank you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All your support, every view, every subscription, every comment, every like. It really means a lot to me. And I'm still doing my best to keep up with the comments, which is becoming increasingly difficult. Because, yeah, sometimes I get a question, and sometimes I know the answer right away. Sometimes I have to look it up. Other times I don't even know how to respond. And it's just the numbers too. Like, I wake up to, you know, anywhere from 10 to 20 comments a lot of days now. And then, you know, over the course of the day, I'll get that many or even double that many more. And I'm trying to respond to most of them. And some of them don't really, it just doesn't make sense to respond, so I don't respond. And there are some that I don't even see. I'm sure there are some that I'm not even seeing. So if you don't get a response, that's one reason. And sometimes I'll just give a like if it seems like the end of the conversation. I'll just leave a like, okay, cool. But yeah, it is getting difficult to keep up. So I don't know at what point I just won't be able to answer everybody anymore. And I know I'm not even seeing all of them now, especially longer threads. I've noticed if you know there's a lot of back and forth, or if there's comments from a whole bunch of different people, sometimes I won't see the later comments. Sorry. I can't really do anything about it at this point. It's already becoming a little overwhelming, and sometimes I have to go and specifically go to a video and hit comments and search through the list of comments for that video on the website just to find something that I know exists so that I can try to reply to it. I'm already going on these little quests to reply sometimes, and it's getting a little nuts. But it's kind of fun as well, and I'll try to be I'll be as active as I reasonably can anyway, and I'll reply to whatever I reasonably can. But if you don't get a reply, I'm sorry. I'm doing as much as I can. And but thank you all so much for the support, and I do like seeing all those comments, and it all means a lot to me, and it's all very exciting, and it's got me in a great mood today. I'm feeling good. So thank you all for everything. Thank you so much. And yeah, at this point, it's going to be a slightly longer period before my next update. I'm planning on doing the next one at 15,000, but I have a feeling it won't be that long. We're actually already 100 and some odd past 12,500 in, you know, those 2 days, averaging close to 70 subscribers a day, which is also crazy. And with the summer season coming, June, I'm already seeing an uptick, as I say, and July, if last year was any indication, July was the high point for most of the year. Basically, the channel did the best in July. August, it did almost as well as July, very close, and then it took a bit of a dip. It wasn't until November that it caught back up to July, so, and that's fine. It's going to be a ride just to see how well we can do over the summer and beyond. And then, yeah, December was a new record for sure. And that's the only month that competes with July, as far as I can tell. The last, you know, there's been 3 years now. And it's kind of a pattern. Those are high points for YouTube, July and December. There are reasons for that, of course, holidays, both of those times, among other things. But yeah, it's going to be a wild ride, and I'm looking forward to it. We're having fun. So thank you all. Thank you. I'm stumbling over my thank yous now. As you know, I stumble over my words. But I will see you next time at 15,000. I'm looking forward to it. Please do let me know what you think about the games, the channel ideas, the, you know, sponsorship ideas and all that stuff. I do want to hear from all of you on all that. So please do let me know, and I will see you next time without rambling any further. Bye for now.